this out. Let me know what you got going on today. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. My name is Gardy. I got Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio. We're going to be learning about the right foods to eat, the wrong foods to eat, and we're also going to be taking some time to address some questions this morning. That's probably one of my favorite things that we do here on KHEA with Dr. Chapa and Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. Good morning, Dr. Chapa. How's it going?
Good morning, Gardy. How are you this fine morning, my brother?
You know, I'm doing great. Doing really good.
Oh, me too, man. Life is fantastic, and I'm so glad that we got the sun back, man. Yesterday was a great. We needed that weather to come through and to water the ground. You know, I saw a little Facebook post from a few years ago that my now 14-year-old asked, and when it was raining real bad one day, she goes, "Is God got a big water gun and he's spraying the earth with it?" And
yes,
and yes, he is
actually. Yeah.
And so it was just really comical. You know, I love the innocence of our children and how they see life, you know what I mean? And it's so great. So last night, then we're driving home, Dash and I, and he's we see the red skies at night, and everybody knows a red sky at night is a sailor's delight. And so it's going to be a beautiful day today. So he goes, tomorrow is going to be a sunny day, and I said, yes, sir. I said it's going to be gorgeous out there today, and I said, so you're lucky. It's going to be awesome, and so I hope you enjoy it. And so, you know, I hope all of you guys that hear our voice, that hear Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center's show every week, we're so thankful that we have faithful followers and people that are sharing, liking, commenting on our Facebook feed. We want you to know that you can follow us on Spotify, you can get us out on iTunes, and you can be a part of our YouTube world and go back and recapture a lot of these telecasts that we're broadcasting, and we want this information into the hands of the people. People are looking for hope. People are looking for information. People are looking for inspiration. And we know through Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center what we've been taught, what we've been teaching over the years of patients, that we can get you from point A to point B. There is going to be a level of, perspiration that comes in, but that's the joy of it. And that's what we want people to really start falling in love with, the process of gathering new insights, new information. I love what Jim Rohn has always stated in the past. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Get more skills. Learn something new. Take the bull by the horns. I'm listening to a book right now called How Not to Die. That's a cool book.
Interesting title. Very
interesting,
catchy.
Yeah, very catchy. And it was recommended to me by a close friend. And this book's written by a medical doctor, and he goes through the statistical analysis of how little education around food and nutrition they get in med school. And he went in to med school not because of a life-threatening condition that medicine saved, a family member. Instead, he went in because his grandma was sent home to die, and there was nothing they could do for her. The medical system quit. And that's unfortunate. One thing I always tell my patients at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we're not quitting on you. You might quit on us, and that's okay. But our door's always open when you're ready to come back. We'll get after it again. We'll get after it again. Why do we fall? Batman, so we can get back up again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that. We're never going to give up on you. We're never going to just say, oh, there's nothing we can do. Because if you stick with it long enough and you follow through with the recommendations to the best of your ability for which we teach, you will get better. I assure you of it. Because you can't argue with nutritional laws. If I drop a pin right now, 9.8 meters per second squared, it's going to fall to the earth. You can't argue with gravity. You can't argue with biochemistry. When you put the right fuel in, you'll get the right result, which is better health, a better mind, better productivity, better lifestyle, a better vitality, a better longevity. How many more do I got to come up with? How long do you want to live? What do you want your life to look like after you've done built it, Gardy? I want to be fully functional in spirit, mind, and body until I'm 125. Praise be to the Lord. And I want all of you guys that hear my voice to come with me. I want you to strive. I want you to stretch. I want you to, get outside your comfort zone and recognize, just like this medical doctor saw something amazing happen. And when his grandma was given 6 weeks to live, they went home, changed her diet on their own accord, unbeknownst to them, to try something. And guess what happened? 30 years later, she passes away in her sleep. 30 years later.
Have you seen the movie The Notebook?
That's the cry movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
I
just
have
wondering,
seen that.
but yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing.
No, why?
Because at the end of the movie, the couple and I don't want to spoil it if somebody hasn't seen it.
Totally.
But that's what I picture when you said that, like
yes.
Full of days, happy
Yes.
and
Hallelujah. And what a way to go. Praise be to the Lord. All right, move on because we will start
Get a
shedding
tear.
tears right now. That is like, I don't care if you're a macho man. If that movie doesn't draw a tear, you have no soul.
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty intense. And I love Philip Maffetone. He's a world-renowned speaker, book writer, Olympic trainer for triathletes, marathoners, and one of the things that he talked about in his book, In Fitness and in Health, is that at the end, the last paragraph in the book, he talks about how he wants to die. He paints this beautiful picture of waking up in the morning after a long life, a fruitful life, a vibrant life. He eats a wonderful breakfast. He goes out for a morning stroll with his bride. He goes and tills and tends to his land and his garden. He gets some sunshine. Just let the rays of the sun just beat down on his face and back. And he just starts painting this picture of how he's got energy all day long and his productivity is doing well and they're having fruitful and lovely conversation in their labor. Then they eat lunch and then they keep, interacting together and make love and life is good. And then they go into dinner time. Well, actually, mid-afternoon nap. They take a little siesta. Who doesn't want a siesta every day? Praise be to the Lord. Somebody like that right now, if you want a siesta in the afternoon. I think
naps are good.
I think we should mandate a hour nap time every day for all of us. I think we'll all be in better moods, less temper tantrums, less crazy thinking. I think we'll have way better clarity. They've done research on napping in the daytime and how powerful it is for your productivity. 27 minutes will increase 3 hours of productivity in a day. I mean, they've done this at NASA research for all their Air Force guys, NASA guys. They literally train and teach how important a nap is. They've done studies to see how the thinking of finding solutions to problems and challenges that we're faced with on a day-to-day basis can come to you after just a little 10, 20, 30-minute nap.
We're getting some people saying, "Hey, nap. Yes, we'll take a nap." Noted. Taking a nap.
So then he keeps painting this picture, right? He keeps painting this picture. The picture, and then they have a beautiful, wonderful dinner together. Maybe, I'm just gonna go there. Why not? A little bit more lovemaking, and then they go to sleep, holding each other, embracing each other, and they pass away together in the night. Sign me up for that.
At 125.
125. Fully functional in spirit, mind, and body. Boy, I pray that people have a vision. I pray because the Bible says if you don't have a vision, the people perish. If you can't see your life at the end and what it looks like and paint a picture like that, then you haven't done enough of your homework.
Dr. Chapa, I got to interrupt you just for a second because I have one of the people at your staff, when you're talking about the naps, they said, "Noted. I'll be sleeping in the back room from 2 to 3 this afternoon."
Well, if I have to be the one that plows the pioneering way, I pray that I can do that, and I would love to honor
in shifts.
that.
In shifts.
Right.
Okay.
As long as y'all build me one of those, by the way.
Build it in.
I mean, if y'all are going to take one, you better, by golly, get me one.
Exactly.
And I mean, so it's just it's so amazing that we, in this medical doctor in this book, How Not to Die, states that of the diseases that most people are diagnosed with, you're in control. It's your life, your health. It's your choice. It's almost like he read my mind. And that it is up to us to take the bull by the horns. That grandma took the bull by the horns. They started making lifestyle changes. They started changing the input, and they started getting rid of the old inputs that were, driving the process. And guess what happened? 30 years later, the grandma lives vibrantly, disease-free, comfortably passes in her sleep. Not 6 weeks. And this guy was inspired. This grandma was able to not only inspire her grandson to become a medical doctor, she also got to see him graduate. Praise the Lord. Isn't that awesome?
That is.
And it wasn't because of a life, threatening miracle that medicine saved. It was they sent her home to die, and food changed, not medicine. You see, medicine paints over rust, and everybody knows if you paint over rust, all you're going to get is what?
The rust is going to come through, yeah.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you don't deal with what we call upstream medicine, we've talked about it on previous shows, the transformational side of medicine, then you miss out on an opportunity to address the root cause. And that root will grow into a weed. That weed will grow into a small tree. That tree will grow into a big tree. And they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. They say that in the beginning, disease is hard to recognize, but easy to fix. Pluck it out. It's gone. In the end, when it's come to fruition, disease is hard. Disease is easy to recognize, very difficult to fix. And so when people struggle and people find themselves up against their precipice, for example, they have a bad diagnosis, they have symptom patterns that are beyond what they were born with genetically, you've got to remember, anything your body can develop, it can undevelop it. But you're going to have to change the inputs. So when we're talking about eat this, not that, we've got to look to food. The number one cause of death in America is heart disease. The second leading cause is lung cancer, which then contributes to heart disease. And so it's very interesting that, we are not teaching people how to live vibrantly. We're teaching people how to survive and just get by the skin of their teeth.
You mentioned heart disease. There's a gentleman I'm Facebook friends with, and he posted a status that said, apparently I had a heart attack about a week and a half ago, that he had went to an appointment. The doctor, he's only a couple years younger, older than me. Looking at him, probably about the same build as me, looks a lot like me. And I was just thinking, like, wow, this dude appears to be healthy. Went to the doctor. He didn't even know. They're like, well, how do you feel? He's like, I think I feel normal.
How old do you think this guy was?
So I'm 34. He's probably about 36, maybe 37.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I had a gentleman come in my office yesterday. He can't be 42, between 38 and 42. And he said to me, what inspired me to come in is I did some sort of online health survey. And it gave me a vitality score, an age, if you will. And it told me that, I was like 88 or 85 years old. And based on the answers to the questions.
And how old is he, for real?
He's between 38 and 42.
Okay.
And so he goes, oh, my gosh, like something is wrong with this picture. I'm not feeling very good, obviously. And for him, he got it. Like that was enough to like jolt him. And so he's been with me now, for I don't know, for a few years. But I mean, he's come back. And one of the things that he said, is like, I just feel so much better. I'm losing weight. My mental clarity's coming back. My productivity's coming back. My vitality, my sleep, everything is just like starting to fire on all 8 cylinders. And that's just the thing, guys. It's like you're in control. It's your life, your health, your choice. What choices are you making to contribute to that vitality? Or what choices or excuses or reasons are you making to contribute to your destruction? And, people don't want to look at that hard truth that they actually might be a prime player in their health journey. And I'm sorry, but we've got to start taking the hard look.
Yeah, when you say that, nobody wants to blame themselves.
No, we want to blame genetics. We want to blame grandma. We want to blame anybody but ourselves.
The government. Like, even the government. I think about leaders. Like a lot of times, it's like, well, it's not me. Look at this. Look at that. And everybody. Well, it could be my neighbor. And it would just be so much easier and better if everybody just looked at themselves and said, what can I do? Maybe it is my fault, and accept some responsibility, and then move on from there.
That's right.
So especially in health, it's always easier. Man, it's genetics, or there's no. It's what I'm a Garcia. It's the Garcias of always. This way. It's just the hand I've been dealt.
Well, and see, that's interesting for me, right? Like my father died of a heart attack at 53. And it was sudden, and he was a good patient. He was doing quote unquote everything the medicine people told him to do. They told him what drugs to take. They told him what to eat. Well, unfortunately, the American Heart Association diet did not serve him well. All the medications didn't serve him well. All the cardiac rehab failed him. And so it shortchanged his lifespan. And so now the question is, well, what does that mean for Dr. Chapa?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is Dr. Chapa going to, die at 53? Heck no. 125, fully functional spirit, mind, and body. I mean, the Lord knows my expiration date, but I'm just going to call it in. And if he takes me earlier, I'm comfortable with his plan and his direction. But I have a plan. People say sometimes to me, it's okay, life's just going to happen. I'm just going to, deal with it as it comes. Great. But what if that attitude drives you to a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of potholes, a lot of unnecessary suffering? What if you just put a little thought, a little bit of directive into taking the bull by the horns and responsibility for your life, your health, your choice, and then inspire somebody else in the process? Find your little dream team, put them together, and you'll push each other, drive each other. And that's what Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is. We're a tribe. We're a tribe of people that believe that we can take the bull by the horns, that we believe that we can serve our greater community, that we can outperform the expressive nature of genetics. I was listening to this guy talk about in this research document about how all bacteria have like a similar type of DNA expressive code. And so they would take and they would put cigarette smoke, just the smoke, by the way, over the bacteria. They'd blow smoke over the bacteria, and it would change the expressive nature of the DNA. You see, we have a genetic blueprint, and we have an expressive blueprint. Our genotype is our blueprint, what mom and dad gave us, but the expression of that blueprint is up to you to express the vitality pieces or the destructive pieces. Which one do you want? Do you want gold or silver? Do you want, trash, or do you want diamonds? I prefer diamonds. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to go digging through a trash can looking for a diamond. I'm going to know my terrain. I'm going to know how to get to where the diamonds are. It's going to take work. It's like Minecraft. You got to dig to get to the goods. And you got to hunt. You got to search. You got to be patient, and you got to stay with it. And so your life is a lot like that. You're in control more than you realize. And then when you start taking the bull by the horns and you allow new information to come into your head, it will start sparking better thinking. The better thinking then will drive better action, and better actions will will drive us towards better results. And those better results can be spiritually. And I pray that, we all wake up spiritually, that we all dig our heels in spiritually and turn our eyes to the heavens and know where our help comes from, and know that if you're not a praying person, you better become one quick, fast, in a hurry, because we all need it. We all need to be praying for each other, serving each other, taking responsibility for our own actions, and getting close to the Lord, not leaning on your parents, not leaning on your pastors, not leaning on your friends, not leaning on your spouses, but you take the bull by the horns. Chew the milk, chew the meat, get off the milk. We've built a society where we're dependent on people spoon feeding us, and we've become docile. We're not pushing and pressing and driving ourselves to better heights and better levels. I was just talking to my mom, and she was telling me spiritually, because this is a diet conversation too. What you put in as your mental vitamins, your mental nutrition applies here. And she said that, I'm listening to this pastor on this night, and this pastor on this night, and this pastor on this night. And I'm doing this Bible study with, this group. And then, your daughter, my daughter, Kinley, wants to do a study on Revelation. And so she's got these CDs ordered. We're going to digest Revelation. And she goes, I just feel like I'm just filling myself up with Jesus. And I'm like, oh, baby, life's getting good. Yeah. Because here's the thing, man. If we can get enough people trying to fill up with Jesus, what will happen is we will start taking the responsibilities we need to take. We'll stop blaming. We'll stop naming. We'll stop, focusing on the wrong terrain, and we'll start keeping our eyes on the Lord. And guess what's going to happen? We're going to start finding a better path. It is a narrow path, but we'll find a better path when it's Christ the Lord.
How old is your daughter, Kinley?
14.
She's 14 years old. And she's probably watching on YouTube right now. Good morning, Kinley.
Oh, Kinley. I hope so.
Streaming live on YouTube.
That's
Make
right.
sure that's an option as well.
That's right. That's right. And so here's the thing, right? So then the next place is when you start, changing your mental state. with the information that you put in your head, and it drives that better thinking, and it drives that better action. It drives those better results. Then you start taking, all right, well, what else can I change? I can change my food inputs. Eat this, not that. Instead of reaching to everything with a label, get food without a label. Instead of reaching to just fruit and calling it a vegetable, go to less fruits or less fructose burden fruits, such as berries, like raspberries, blueberries, schnozberries. Everybody loves those. And strawberries. And these are very antioxidant-rich foods. You know, we can start looking at some of these non-fructose burdened foods. We can look at the power of cruciferous vegetables, which would be your broccoli, your cabbage, and your cauliflowers, which they've done also the same studies, the same way they breathe cigarette smoke over bacteria and change the molecular expression of DNA in petri dishes. They would also sprinkle drops of the phytochemicals and phytonutrients from broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower, and they would see the expressive nature shift. So they would take these wrong expressions and convert them. They would take healthy expressions and enhance them. Unbelievable. Or is it unbelievable? Or is that the way God designed it? That food is medicine. Food, guys, is more powerful than medicine. And the doctor of the future should be prescribing less medicine, more food, more nutrients, more richness in the phytochemicals of what God has provided us through seed, through sunshine, through soil, through rain. And we lift and get the regeneration power. We get the detoxification power. We get the immunological build. We get the ability to age gracefully without ailment, without disease. Does it mean that if you get some of these things and that you did it wrong? No, man. Like, because there is, we are a third and fourth, and I hate to say fifth generation Francis Pottinger's cat story, where we are denaturing our code. But it doesn't mean that you have to just accept it. It doesn't mean that you should accept it. Like, we have to do something, because if you just roll over and take it, you're not going to enjoy it. You've got to make sure that you get involved in the ride. Get on the board. Ride the wave. And push yourself. Press yourself. Think differently. If you don't like your results in life, change. It's up to you. It's your life, your choice, your health. All it comes down to, what I would say, thank you, Dr. D'Onofrio, it's, the difference between the winners and the losers is one more step. All you got to do is take that one necessary step in the right direction, and that comes through healthy, better information. So, find good inputs. Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center wants to be your number one health resource when it comes to how to get well, stay well, and be well. And so food is medicine. So we look at kale. Kale has absolutely been shown to change the molecular structure of your gene code. They look at these foods and they see that it changes. Now the problem is there's not enough quote unquote papers on that, right? There's not enough peer-reviewed journals on that.
Why is that?
And that's because they don't have enough people that are willing to do the work, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Because who wants to eat a labelless-free diet? Because marketing dollars are designed to drive you to something. So there's a lot of money that drives you to choose what you're putting in your body.
And kale you can grow in your backyard. If you have the land, you can grow kale, and that's
right. Yeah. But I mean, how often do you see sweet potatoes on ad? On TV, on the radio.
Yeah, not one time.
Yeah, never.
Right
Kale,
now, go buy
spinach,
some.
Get
a sweet potato.
Yeah, you don't see that stuff. But sure as heck, you see cereal boxes, and you see pastries, and you see all the junk food galore. I mean, all the processed, sugary drinks, and the artificial rocket fuel that people are reaching towards, the carbohydrates, the refined sugars, the additives, the alcohols, the processed food. We see all of that added, marketed to us. Guys, a part of what you think is healthy is only healthy because of great marketing dollars, putting 20+ thousand hours of pharmaceutical ads, even more than that on these junk food ads, and they have found and proven that people are creatures of habit, and people buy into easy programming. That's why the TV used to be called, this is a paid program. It's programming your mind to think a certain way. Be mindful of what you put in as an input. How rich is your bucket of words? Have you invested good reading material into your noggin, or have you invested poorly in that department? Can we get better? We can all get better. We don't want to develop rickets of the mind, right? Who wants that? Nobody. And, people don't realize that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition drives it all. Nutrition pushes us upward, goodward, goodward and Godward. I mean, it's the game that I want people to realize is that you should start your day with spinach and eggs. Spinach for breakfast? Why? Dude, you could, like this morning I had a shot of apple cider vinegar and cayenne pepper. I had a handful of spinach. I had, some eggs, and I had, I was just fulfilled. Like, it was just delish. And then I'll have, a meat and veggie in a couple hours, and then I'll have another meat and veggie in a couple hours. And I mean, what if we literally started eating labelless foods, and we got away from the boxed food, the processed food, the junk food? What would happen? You would be surprised. You'll have more energy. You'll feel less inflamed. Things that are hurting in your body, that have been hurting for years, that they've been pumping steroids into you for, or medications, or you've been sucking down Advil or Tylenol or some of these other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs that destroy your liver and kidneys. Proven, head team physician for the Kansas City Chiefs. One of my friends, Evan Mladenoff, developed a product that we use in our office called Enzyme, and the Enzyme is designed to give you an anti-inflammatory support. And it's amazing how quickly it works. It's amazing how well it works. And it's laden with plant enzymes, which has all the biophotons and bionutrients, phytonutrients and chemicals to help neutralize inflammation and eat up inflammation. It's got boswellia and turmeric, and it's a powerhouse product. And he designed it because his players were getting kidney pains and low back pains, and they couldn't perform well on the field. And he would always say, boys, time is money. We got 20 seconds to fix this player. This is a $4 million asset. This is a $22 million asset. You got to fix them fast, And one of the things that he wanted to teach them and promote to them is food as medicine. Stop reaching for the drugs and start reaching to real food as fuel, as a fuel for regeneration, a fuel for recovery, a fuel for performance, a fuel that will give you longevity after your seasons and your career is over. And so, because how many times do we see pro athletes that are washed up and washed out after the fact? And it's because they didn't have good lifestyle practices. And oftentimes that's why they were mediocre. That's oftentimes why they never fulfilled, what they could have been as an athlete. And this goes to the athletics of just living long and having a vibrance and attitude of, like, I want to maximize this life. I want to be thankful for this life that I've been given. I love it. Here it comes again. Romans 12:1, my favorite passage in the world. I beseech thee, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God. Guys, do you realize God is given He's so full of mercy. He gave his life today. Give me an amen. You got some life today. The mercy of God, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to the Lord, which is your reasonable service. Romans 12:1. You should check that out. You should write that on your mirror. You should write that on a postcard. You could stick that in your car. You could put that, in your lunch pail. Anytime you get a chance to look at it, just marinate on it, chew on it. Don't just, take it for face value. Open it up, read the before passages and the post passages, and see what's in the context of it, and suck the marrow out of it, and you'll be blown away, because you'll find out that you are of a world. You are in this world, but we're not of this world. And we are to live different. We are to put ourselves into a different stance on how we live out our days and how we interact with our society. And when you're broken down because you got loads and loads of symptoms, and your body's hurting, and your mind is hurting, you got headaches, or you got skin rashes, or you've got digestive distress, or you're sick all the time, or you're worried all the time, or you're anxious all the time, or you can't sleep at night, you're restless during the night, you toss, you turn, you boil, whatever's going on, you got hot flashes, night sweats, you feel like your body's just falling apart. Guess what happens? That all that is your body screaming for help. Give it help. People go, why do you tell me to give more coral and more sesame seed and more Congoplex when I have a fever? I thought a fever was good. It is good. If you have no resources, your body is going to leverage its own resources from its own storehouses in order to get that fever under control. And it's going to rise. And the body, as it rises up to, say, 103 degrees, your body's moving at 165 times its normal rate of speed in order to clear an infection. But what if, right? What if you were astute enough? What if I taught you that you could give calcium, magnesium, you could give in the form of coral or calcium lactate, you could give Congoplex, you could give sesame seed oil to stimulate that bone marrow, to support the vitamin A, the vitamin C pathways. You could support the thymus production of your T cells. And in 20, 30 minutes, you'll see the fever drop and you'll see the attitude of the human change. They'll feel better. Now, it might only last 30 to 40 minutes because they still need rest and their body's still fighting. But did we disrupt the fever in a way that Tylenols do or Advils do? No. What we did is we gave the building blocks to the body in order to support the immune response that it needs. You gave a new truckload of nutrition, of resources, in order for it to mount a faster defense. It doesn't have to pull it out of storage. It doesn't have to run to the bank. It just got it straight in through the mouth. And you give the body these nutrients, and all of a sudden the body gets all fired up and excited and just says, all systems go, and the body can get after the killing and the strategic planning on how it's going to mount a defense against a chronic old infection or an acute pathogen that you get exposed to. And that just goes to this whole conversation about what the coronavirus has scared everybody silly, and it really is silly, folks. Like, you're trying to hide from a virus. That's like trying to hide from pollen. That's like trying to say you're going to make it through life without an ant bite. I just got to really thinking about this, and it baffles my brain that we are so worried. We are not living in the 1920s. We are not living in an open-air sewer system. We are not an unsanitary civilization. We need to recognize we are a very different civilization than we were. Now, I mean, we're unhealthy in a lot of ways, but that's, again, your life, your health, your choice. That's because we've allowed, by the way, it's our fault, our responsibility, mine included, hence why I get frustrated and angry because I haven't taken full responsibility for it yet, and I'm trying to figure out my place and how God's going to use me and leverage me in order to be a blessing to you and your family and your generational line. And I'm trying to, I'm trying to strategically move faster than ever. I'm praying the prayer, Lord, give me wisdom. You said you'd give generously to all without finding fault. Pour it on me so that I can lead the people that you got entrusting me with their health, their life, and their choices. Let me give them good insight and good information so that I can help them navigate the terrain and know where they're going and help them paint a picture of where they want to be, even in the midst of a situation going on in our freaking world that can be changed just by choices, by unity. Shared goals build unity. We got to stop all this fighting. We got to stop all this blaming and naming and start taking the bull by the horns and start wanting to change ourselves and to stop being a blue crab, which reaches up and grabs your buddy blue crab and never lets them advance in the ranks. We need to press people, push people, grow people, develop people. They say in an old, Chinese proverb that if you want to invest for a year, invest in wheat. Grow wheat. If you want to invest for 100 years, grow trees. If you want to invest for a lifetime, Gardy, you know what you invest in?
No, what?
People. You build people. We stop this fighting, this madness of, and we start communicating. My mentor always told me communication is the universal solvent. You know what a universal solvent is? It means that it dissolves stuff. So when there's tension, communication should fix it. But you got to be willing to have the conversation. That's why the Matthew story in the Bible talks about go to your brother or your sister, talk it out. So whenever when you're unwilling to talk it out with a friend, family, or loved one, recognizing that you're going to agree to disagree, that's okay. But put yourself in a position where you can see it from their angle, their perspective. Abraham Lincoln always said that whenever I didn't like somebody, because we're all commanded to love, right? You got to love your neighbor as yourself. It doesn't mean you have to like everybody. There's people in my world I don't like, but I love them. I sure as heck love them because I love God's people. I love God's children. I want the best for them. I want them to be saved, number one. I want them to know Christ is the way, the truth, the life, the bread of life. I want them to know and recognize that love is the best thing ever. But just because you don't like them means, Abraham Lincoln said, you got to get to know them. better. You got to put yourself in their shoes. You got to be willing to sit and sweat it out with them a little bit and figure out what it is you don't like about them. Because at least if you put forth that effort, then you can walk away knowing you saw it from their perspective. And then when something begins to change, you might actually find a best friend. You might find somebody that'll go with you into a foxhole. You know what it is to stand in a foxhole with somebody? They say there's no atheist in a foxhole because there's guns going off and bombs blowing up, and it's scary stuff. It's that spot where you realize you might not get out of that foxhole, you know? And who do you want to be in your foxhole with you? I pray that you want, number one, Jesus Christ. Number two, I hope that you got a friend, a family member, a spouse, a loved one. Number three, I hope that you've got a social circle that you can rely on and trust. Number four, I hope maybe you would call Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center and know that we'll pray for you. You can come in our office and we'll help you. But you're going to have to put forth an effort in anything that you do. It's all, it literally comes down to a choice. And I think the discipline of eating well is a discipline that you're showing the Lord, I'm going to honor you with this body. I'm going to turn it in as best shape as it can be. Because he knows it's going to degenerate. And guys, he knows that we're all going through this crazy time in society. He knows and recognizes that it's absolutely, he ain't shocked. Praise the Lord. It's up to us whether or not we're going to start making our own stance and stand, and who we're going to let lead us. Who are we going to lead? Who are we going to become through the process? You know, I always say like, you know, they used to say, you are what you eat. I changed that. You know what I changed it to? You become what you eat. You want to become a sugar-filled lump of dough? Eat sugar-filled lumps of dough. Oh, my number one beef or complaint with the modern church today is we serve our kids donuts physically, and then we want them to, stay still and listen to a spiritual message. Doesn't make sense to my brain because that's not how it works. But I get it. We got to get people there and entice them with the carrot, quote unquote. Entice them with the carrot. We should be enticing it with the carrot. When you look at animals. Have you ever seen a horse after a nice ride in the North Carolina Asheville Mountains?
I know I haven't.
I have. Praise the Lord. I'm just watching it right now happen.
Okay.
I remember standing up on this horse, and I was like riding him, and I was scared to death because I was literally standing up on the back of this thing. It was a Tennessee walking horse, and we're sliding. And my buddy was like, just let him do his work. Remember, he don't want to fall either.
Right.
And he just said, think light, and I'm like, think light? How do I defy gravity? I'm like
Right.
over here. And he says, we're walking across this ledge, and he says, now remember, this ledge, there's you can fall. And if he falls, I'm like, if? What? There was no if. I don't want to fall. Horse, cliff. No, not good. But there wasn't a deep cliff, thankfully. But he fell. And I just remember my buddy just training me and saying, think light, think light, think light, think light. And I just literally floated on that horse and let him figure it out. And then he bounced us up off that ridge and got us back on track. And then we kept trucking. And I'm telling you, when we got to a stopping point, number one, I was exhilarated. It was so exciting. And it was beautiful. And then we pulled out our apples and we started eating our apples. And then we give the horse the core. And then we give him his own apple and carrot and two. And he's just chomping at the bit. He's just eating it. And he's just happy as he could be.
Right?
You want to see that again?
Yes.
I love it. I know everybody does. And so, this is the thing. Why don't we dangle that kind of nutrition in front of people? Man, if you're craving sugar, man, eat an apple. You get some raspberries. Like, reach for something without a label. And see if you can break the addiction. Tonight, 6:30 p.m., Eat This, Not That, at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. We're going to be talking about this, and guess one of the products we're going to give away if you stay to the end of our class, live and Zoom. If you stay to the end, we will give away a bottle of Gymnema, which will reset your blood sugar pathways, that will reset the beta receptors in your pancreas, that will allow you to rip and roar over cravings. You will have power over cravings that you never thought possible. You could chew this stuff up and then eat a piece of bread, and it'll taste like cardboard.
I've had it. You've given me Gymnema before.
Do you remember? I remember the whole story. Was it I just don't remember the name of that thing.
Olympia Grill came in and they brought in, what is that baklava? Baklava.
Yeah, baklava.
And it was on a Tuesday. Dr. Chapa was in, and then Dr. Chapa left. It was, like, thank you so much, Dr. Chapa. Olympia Grill came in, gave us all this food, and it tasted like Jemima wiped out our taste buds for I don't know how long, but it was a crazy experience. I didn't understand it, and then remembered Dr. Chapa.
Yes,
you did this.
That's right. It was my fault. I caused it. But here's the reality, guys. I mean, you just don't realize sometimes you've got to leverage God's plants, God's herbs. He gave us every seed-bearing plant in order to use medicinally for our purpose and use. And I know some of you guys are like, "Ooh, marijuana, let's go get some." I'm not. There's so many other seed-bearing plants. There's so many other ways to help, like garlic to open up your arteries, hawthorn to open up your arteries, to the horse chestnut to open up your veins, and cayenne pepper, turmeric. The research on these herbs are so deep and so rich. And guys, even if there wasn't research, these are thousands of year old hand-me-downs of wisdom. That's the generational blessing we need to pass down. How are we going to live? How are we going to show our children and our grandchildren how to live out their days healthy, vibrant, alive? No one wants to be a 42-year-old man feeling like he's 85. Nobody wants to be your buddy, 36 years old, having heart palpitations. Nobody wants to be a nurse that's up on her feet, dehydrated, worn out, washed out at 28. Guys, I have every one of these patients. I'm blown away by the number of people suffering younger and younger. Originally, I'll tell you, my marketing plan was 35 to 55. For women, because women make 80% of the most health decisions for their family. And I'm after, if you know my story, you know what I'm after. I'm after the husbands. I want the men. I want to save as many men as possible. And because we need men to rise up. We need men to be healthy. We need men to be better dads, better husbands, better leaders. They need to be better thinkers. They need to be better heads for their homes. And so the only way I can get to you guys is to get to your wife. And I got to teach her and educate her because she makes 80% of all the health decisions for the family. And typically, mom brings a child in as a guinea pig. Sometimes she brings herself, but 9 times out of 10, she'll bring somebody else. And she's observing. She's paying attention to all my tricks, and she's listening to all my stories, and she's paying attention to all my tales, and she's trying to figure me out. Is this guy legit? Is this guy just snake oil salesman? Is this guy full of it? Is he a quack? Is he one of those quack guys? By the way, do you know where quack came from? I just found out. I'm so excited, Gardy. I forgot I was going to say this, but I forgot. I was called a quack the other day. I found out through the grapevine, through gossip. Man, you know how that comes back to you sometimes as a boomerang. You know, the Bible says nothing will be hidden. Oh, nothing will be hidden. Be mindful of what you say. It will come back. And in this case, I got it. They called me a quack. They thought it would hurt my feelings. But you know what? I go, woohoo! Call me a quack because you don't even know what that means. You know, what that means I'm an innovator. That means I'm a pioneer. That means I'm a visionary. And you know why? Because the quacks of the day where that word came from Germany, the Quackenslaven docs. The guys that were the quicksilver docs. The guys that replaced the wood chips in your mouth with metal. And all the American docs were like, this is garbage. This is not good. Da 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 da. This is and so they fought it and they called them quacks because they were Quackenslaven, quicksilver doctors. Instead of snake oil salesmen, they called them quicksilver doctors. And so and here this guy calls me a quack, and I'm like, you don't even know, buddy.
Let's add him. Who is it? Who did it?
Yeah, let's call him up right now. Let's be that game.
What's his number? I can't give him a call.
What's that show? Where they like, yeah, we won't talk about that show.
Let's call a friend.
Yeah,
phone a friend.
Yeah, no, that one where they like, they catch their people. We went.
Yeah.
I don't want to go negative on them, but anyway, at the end of the day, dude, that's like, that whole used to that would offend me, because I'm all about taking care of my reputation. I work really hard at serving the community well, and I want to be a blessing to people. I don't want to be a curse. I want you to be lifted. I don't want you to be dropped. I want you to be encouraged. I don't want you to be discouraged. I want you to be the best version of you tomorrow as you can be. I'm selling an intangible. I'm selling a better you tomorrow. I'm okay telling you what I'm doing because I know the terrain. I know how to go and hang out with the wizard, with Oz. I know the guy behind the curtain. I know the great physician. His name is Jesus Christ, and I'm on my way, and I want you to come with me. I want you to be healthy every step of the way. And people, people just don't take the time to get to know people well enough before they start casting lots or casting stones or and throwing people under the bus. And instead of being a blue crab, I want to be somebody that leverages people up to their God-given potential. I want you to be better than me. I want you to go beyond. My dad taught me to be a generation jumper. I want you to be a generation jumper. I want you to push yourself and press yourself and not just settle for whatever it is you've been given. And I mean, I get really excited about this. Can you tell? I mean, I really, really do. And I want people to recognize all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental backbone. Eat some broccoli. Here, eat this root. Get into the herbs. Get into the nutritional processes that we're teaching at our office, and trust the process. Stop being such a skeptic. Be a healthy skeptic. Ask good questions. Don't be, well, I'm just going to give it 5% effort. Whether it's an excuse or a reason, people give them to me all day, every day. It's your life, your health, your choice. I'm just here to serve. I'm just here to teach. I'm just here to coach. I'm just here to guide. I'm just here to lead. I'm just going to keep, sitting and catching fire so that people come from miles and miles to watch me burn. I just want people to know that there's hope, that they can be their own light. They'll come in, they'll be blessed by the Lord, they'll be touched, they'll go out and be a blessing to others, and that they'll share and spread the message. So when you hear this message here on this radio, I want you to like it, share it, love it, comment on it, give it away, share it with your best friend, share it with your mom, your grandma, share it with your grandpa, share it with your husband, your father. Find somebody to give it to. My mentor told me, give it away, Chop. Try to outgive God. Try. And he will show up and shine out in so many wonderful ways. He'll drop blessing every which way to Sunday, and you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt where your help comes from. You just keep your eyes on the Lord.
Last week you were talking about pouring out, everything that's been put into you, and a lot of times people like to keep stuff to themselves, but you'd be amazed how much you get refilled back up.
That's right. You can't give or receive when you have a full cup. You can only receive when you have an empty cup, which means you better pour that baby upside down, and you better pour it all over everybody and anybody that will listen. Better go for it, man. Just go for it. Open the door, walk through the door, and just pour out everything you got on all your friends, your family, your loved ones. Risk it. Risk your reputation. Risk people thinking you're dumb or a quack or whatever the word they're going to use. You're silly. You're too optimistic. You're this. You dang right. Why go through life at all dysfunctional because I have no hope? You know what I mean? I do have hope. I got hope in eternal life. I got hope that I can take people with me. I got hope that people want to go with me. I got hope that I'm standing out in the woods by myself screaming, follow me. I know how to get through this thing. We can get there together. It'll be a lot more fun, too. We'll have a lot of cool conversations. We'll have a lot of fun in learning together. I'll learn from you. You'll learn from me. It's going to be iron sharpening iron. Proverbs 27:17, another one of my favorite early on passages. Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, Gardy, so shall one man sharpen another. We've got to work on each other. And if you're open, if you're honest, if you're real enough, and you stay and remain teachable, you will grow, you will develop, and you will make a difference in your world in a powerful, abundant way. And I know that, I go through this every week, and I really want people to realize it really does come down to something simple, guys. Eat foods that don't have a label on it. Eat this, not that. It's your life, it's your health, your choice. And the more you start recognizing how important it is to stay away from the processed carbs, the processed refined sugars, the processed additives and alcohol, the processed food that people get into, the deadly 4 food additives, the artificial sugars, the MSGs, the code word name for MSG, the excitotoxins is what you can Google or just email us and we'll send you a link or a paper on excitotoxins. Maybe if one of my staff is listening, they can find it and post it in the chat. That'd be awesome. And the excitotoxins are a real burden to the brain. And if your brain is constantly under distress, if it's constantly getting bombs dropped on it like Hiroshima, guess what? It doesn't function well for very long. It's hard to be stressed out neurologically. We were sitting in a class this weekend, the gut-brain connection, how important it is to take care of your digestive tract. Well, how do you do that, Gardy? You eat better food. Duh. what you put in that thing, it's a tube from mouth to hiney. Guess what happens? It will get inflamed. It will get irritated. It will burn up. It will wear out if you don't put the right nutrients in. The nutrients that have biophotons, the nutrients that have phytochemicals, the nutrients that will heal and restore the internal workings of your digestive tract, that will give you the global systemic energy to have a strong, healthy brain, a strong, healthy heart, a strong, healthy immune system, a strong, healthy thinking pattern, a strong, healthy muscular system that will last, a strong, healthy, skin, outer shell that will keep you protected from your surroundings. It's life, nutrients, molecular. It's fun. It's encouraging. It's hopeful. At Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we believe all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental backbone. Tonight, 6:30 p.m., we have our Eat This, Not That class. We're going to be teaching more in-depth on this conversation. For those that stay to the end, we'll get a free bottle of Gymnema, reset your blood sugar. You'll get your pancreas to literally reset the beta receptors. You will stop cravings in their tracks. You will feel great. And we want to encourage you every month for the last almost, it seems like 2 years, we've been teaching a monthly class to educate you, to give back to you, to give you information, insight at a deeper level. And we're so excited that we get to do it through Zoom, get to do it through live, and we're going to have some fun at our office. We're going to have fun online. So we want you to tune in. We want you to be a part of what Living Well is doing. Give us a call, 281-554-8600. Go to our website, justlivewell.com, and take one of our health surveys. You'll love how your life is going to turn out if you just make the call. If you go ahead and come in and let us serve you and be with you and walk with you through your health journey. It's your life. It's your health, your choice. Make the decision. Make it today, and we'll see you soon. A brighter, healthier tomorrow. God bless you all. Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is out.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Dr. Chapa, we got 2 questions about the event tonight.
Oh.
One, is it free to attend?
It is free to attend. Come on out.
Okay, and then the other one,
815 East Main Street, League City, Texas, 77573.
And then they want to know, is there a link to the Zoom invitation? Is that on the Facebook invitation, the event? The Zoom link for the event tonight?
Let me. So what we'll do is I'll have one of my staff also drop a link in the Facebook feed going here, so that people that are not on our email list. But if you would like to be on our email list, info@justlivewell.com. Info@justlivewell.com. That is where you just email us and say, we want to be on your email list. We want to be a part of what Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is doing. I promise we won't blast you with a bunch of crazy emails. We just want to give you information when we have these events. We do it once a month. You'll get some, you will get an email or 2. I mean, that's the nature of it. But we will not start spamming you daily or anything like that. Nobody's got that kind of time. We don't want to be redundant, like boring. We want to be exciting. We want to be fresh, and we want to give you up-to-date health information that'll change your life. So please, info@justlivewell.com. Email us, say, I want to be on your email list, and give us your name and make your request. And yes, I will get my staff to put a link in the Facebook group so that those that are out of state, those that are in another city, that they can tune in. Or if you got busy lives and you don't have time to come out tonight, no worries. Good thing technology's here. It's only cool when it works, but it's here. We're going to leverage it to the hilt. God bless you all. Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. We'll see you next week.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:01 on a Tuesday. Dr. Chapa is in studio every Tuesday where we talk about health, nutrition, and just living well. There's a couple people that signed up. Robin said, hey, I'm looking forward to it tonight. Tammy said, I was looking for the link. And then Amanda, she wants to know how she can be there tonight as well. So this is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Hey, Facebook, y'all be good. Be